Hello guys, I hope you guys are having an awesome week. So today I'm going to talk in depth about the blowgun. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through all the different things like aiming and all that type of stuff that people get so drastically wrong. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Obviously it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I feel that so many people get it wrong that it's worth talking about. So firstly, this is a 0.625 diameter bore, and also, if you'll notice, I don't know if you can see it with that particular camera because it is a wide angle lens, but this blowpipe has a slant to it. Okay, let me pause it there for a second. Pretty much what I'm saying is my pipe is deliberately bent with an upward curve. Now that is very important for me, and the mouth part is very important for me, because when I blow, the mouth part must always be on my left hand side. And that allows me to put the pipe in the exact same position every time to blow. And it really does help get your accuracy a little bit better. One thing you will notice is that the mouthpiece is from big bore blowguns. I've had this mouthpiece since I was 12 years old. I've been using it and I just never changed. There are better mouthpieces out there nowadays, but it's just what I've done. I have replaced the pipe once or twice, but the mouthpiece has stayed original. If you're ever in a country where you can't buy a blowgun or you can't afford a blowgun, very simple thing to do is just to go and get a 0.625 size diameter, and that will take most of the different types of darts, including the Tim Wells, Slockmaster, and of course cold steel, and all those type of darts you will be able to use in that particular, because that's the exact same pipe they use. And you'll need to buy extruded pipe, because otherwise you'll have a seam in it and that will drop your accuracy. What I talk to you about is the power of the blow. Now, a lot of people get this wrong. The best way to blow is a sudden puff, not a drawn out. So when I blow, when I'm shooting for birds, it's just a okay. And when I blow, when I'm shooting for a rabbit, it's a very different thing. I actually compress air in my mouth as well as in my lungs before I let it out. So it's a much more power put into the blow. That different technique can actually put darts into brick walls, which can be useful as a part. If you have a look, that extra little bit of power and penetration actually manages to puncture the skin and get to the vital organs. Whereas a bird, let's be honest, if you shoot a small bird with a blowgun, the dart's going to go through it and the bird's going to come down, guaranteed. Now that we've got that out the way, just the standard basics, obviously one of the main things is how to aim a blowgun. Let us explain this shot. So technically, when you're looking down your pipe, you don't see very much other than this. You have what is known as the two ghost pipes. Your right eye throws the left pipe and your left eye throws the right pipe. So the target is indicated by that red arrow over there. Now, what I usually do is I try to draw a triangle. So from the one pipe to the other pipe to the target, back down to the other pipe. It forms a triangle. So obviously, the further away a target is, the triangle will change. This, as you can see, the triangle has reverted. Depending on the power of your blow and depending on who you are and how strong your blow is, will depend on where that triangle changes. For me, that triangle only changes at 6 meters. Anything further than 6 meters, the triangle needs to be upside down. Anything below 6 meters, the triangle needs to be right way up. Another problem a lot of people have is pipes that are not on the same level. They are kind of at a slant. All that this needs to be, you need to do to remedy this, of course, is just to shift your head, because it's all perspective. If you hold your finger out and look at a car on the street and move your head, tilt your head from side to side, you will see that the focal points will change. Of course, I got this bird really nicely, and this was the first button quail I had ever shot with a blowgun. Okay, so this is a little bit of a different shot. Because it is straight up, I actually think it is much easier. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change it over to what you see, and of course I'm going to indicate the bird by a red arrow. Now all that you need to do to pull the shot off is you just draw a line between the pipes and a line going straight away from the pipes. That is the course that your dart will take. And as far as you go away, of course, it will stay on that line because gravity does not affect it. Now, of course, you can also still draw your triangle. Because you do not have gravity, your triangle tends to get distorted quite quickly and get very, very long and thin. So I just tend to do this method rather, and it works very well for me.
Oh, headshot!
What we're going to talk about now is darts. Now, these are a few of the darts that I've used over the time. I'm going to speak about each one individually. I know there are better darts on the market than what is in front of you, but I don't actually have experience lately with anything other than my own dart, which is this one. So let's just start with the simple ones. I know they've made a much better blunt force trauma dart than this. The Stockmaster uses it quite a bit. I've seen it for sale in a few shops, but I've never really decided that I'm going to fork out the money on a dart like that you can only shoot your brother with and small game. So I'm going to leave that one out of it. Not really worth it unless you really want to shoot your brother. So that takes us to our second dart here. Now this was Cold Steel's version of a hunting dart. You can see mine is very similar. Mine is just a lot longer and a lot heavier than theirs, but tends to work quite well. And my first things like my first rabbit and my first bird was ever shot with these darts. The one drawback I have for them is these caps tend to come off quite easily. I can't do it with one hand, but when you shoot it through something, the cap stays behind, the steel bit continues, and that tends to allow you to lose the steel bit. If you have a look at my dart compared to this one, you'll see my dart is much longer, so it can go that extra little bit before it reaches the cap, and that technically stops the dart from the cap from popping off. So I prefer mine over this one, but this is what you can buy over the shelf. So that's that dart out the way. Second dart I'm going to bring to your attention is this plastic broadhead. I love these. I really love these. But what I used to do is, because it's a four-sided thing, I used to cut down two of the sides, and I used to make it a flat broadhead, so it would look something similar to that. And the reason being for that was just because of penetration. Trying to shoot this thing as is into an animal, it's just, you can't get it deep enough to actually kill something. It actually becomes a blunt force trauma dart. So those two are pretty much the same, unless of course you modify them. I use these quite a bit due to just them being a very lightweight, and if you shoot them you can retrieve them. And I actually use these as though they were a practice dart, not necessarily a hunting dart. I can say I've killed a bird with it once, but that's not necessarily what it's made for. It's actually made for practice. And because these sticks are so readily available, you know, it just, even if it breaks, you just replace the stick. So that dart, I wouldn't ever hunt with it, just due to how light it is. It's just too light to kill anything. Which brings us to my dart. This is my dart. It is 3 times the weight of this dart, so when you blow it, it's got a lot more momentum with it. The plastic cap is homemade right here in the shop, right near my house. So literally, plastic cap's homemade, steel is homemade, that is ground. I'll leave a link to the video right over there, and if you want to make your own, you can see how to do that. So darts out the way. The most effective one out of this whole pile, I'm going to say, is mine, probably followed up by the miniature broadhead, which Tim Wells and everybody uses. Then probably this one with a bit of doctoring is either below or above this one. I'm actually not sure where I'd put it. I'd probably put it just below. Then of course you've got your blunt force trauma, which is used for shooting your brother. So now I'm going to show you guys how to make a poisonous dart, or as I know it, as venomous dart. Bear in mind, in a lot of countries this will be illegal. So one of the things you can use is you can use insects like the scorpion. I don't tend to use scorpion venom too much because at the end of the day it actually doesn't have too much effect on the animals. So what we are going to be using today is what is known as a runkos. This is a highly venomous snake. It's actually been taken out of the cobra family, but it is actually a cobra, but not a true cobra because it gives birth to live young. It has a serious amount of neurotoxic venom, which it uses to disabilitate its prey. So it's quite a nice choice because it is very fast acting venom. 40 minutes the animal will definitely be down, usually a bit shorter than that. I'm just going to show you how to extract the venom. What I have right here is actually just a plastic bag shoved in a bucket and an elastic band put over the top. This is going to be what I'm going to milk the snake with. Now we just need to get this cobra out. Let me pause it there for a second. Please remember that this is supposed to only be done by professionals. If you don't know what you're doing, you can actually kill yourself with these snakes. Now bear in mind that these guys do spit, so let's just see if we can. I can pin it. There we go, got her. All she wants to do is bite. Look at that, she's really trying to go for my finger. So all we do, just take this thing and just give her an opportunity to. Look at that. There we go. Oh, there's a nice load of venom. Alright. Well, that's her. Oh, she still wants to give me more. Okay. So that's one runkos. And I'll do this with a few runkos. Take a look at that venom. I don't know if you can see it in there, but that's probably enough to kill 7 or 8 people. So usually what I do is I just tear this open like this. Now all you got to do is just leave it to dry. We have dry venom. All of it is dried. Still sticky. Oh, it hasn't dried out yet properly. So as that dries, you should end up with a bunch of dry venom like that. Now, what I tend to do with this is I will put it into a little bottle and then you can use it as needed. Not all of this is dry yet, so I'm just going to get some of it and I'll show you what I do with just a little bit. There we go. So we're going to put it on the paper. That's not all of it, that's just a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fold the paper into a nice little strip, put it into the bottle. Down you go, there we go. So there it is in the bottle. Now it is in the bottle, what we're going to actually do is we're going to grind it up into a white powder. Alright, so we have a little bit of venom in the bottom there. Obviously you want more than that. I like to use these glass jars. Some people get a little bit antsy when you use a glass jar, just because of if it does break in your pocket and cut yourself with this, you could be in serious trouble. Now I know what a lot of you are thinking, why not use a plant, something like a tree euphorbia sap or maybe even a tambuti. The reason I like to do this is venom is injected, but poison is ingested. So something that is poisonous and venomous is quite bad for you, because if you eat it you can get a secondary poisoning, whereas venom is a protein. So if you ingest it, it's the same as ingesting chicken egg, whereas something like a poisonous plant like that tree euphorbia, you will end up having to cut away a lot of the meat and not be able to eat the meat, otherwise you will get sick. So this is why I use this. If you want to apply it to your shaft, all you got to do is lick your shaft so it's wet, and then you just pick up the venom, and that's plenty. That will kill most things. You ever need to just neutralize the venom, and if you're not happy with the start and you haven't shot it, all you do is you just go dunk it in some water, and the venom is now gone. But you can see it sort of sticks still, but it disappears quite quickly. So lastly, let's talk about blowguns, the length. So what I usually say is if you put it on the ground and it comes to about your nose height, the blowgun is about right for you. You can get thicker and thinner blowguns than the standard 625 blowgun, but really when Cold Steel first brought this blowgun out, they sort of standardized everything. So to take another size blowgun might actually be a little bit more harm than good. I have hunted with very thin blowpipes that I can't even fit my pinky into, and I have hunted with much thicker pipes than this. I would say that this has given me the most power out of any of the blowguns, and this will be the pipe that I end up using for the rest of my life, just because it suits my lung capacity better than most of the other ones. Some other people, it might not suit you as well, but for me, this is the pipe. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed that footage. Now, I just want to put a disclaimer here at the end, because every single person uses a blowgun differently. I will use blowgun differently to my brother. For example, I've got a bend in my blowpipe, deliberately put there. My brother's does not. So I pick up my brother's blowpipe, I cannot hit the broadside of a barn, because for one, you don't know which way is up, and for two, it's a straight pipe. So I struggle with my brother's blowpipe. Not everybody is the same. Not every method will work the same. Of course, the aiming side, if you've only got one eye, then you can't use that type of method. So everybody will have a slightly different take on how to use a blowgun. This is just how I use it. This is my recommendations. I've been hunting since I was 12 years old with a blowgun, and yeah, I've enjoyed every minute of it. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed it all, and I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. This is just the way I do it, and yeah, take it or leave it. There might be one or two little things you disagree with me on, and maybe two things that you've learned. Take it, honestly.